In some parts of the country, children all go to the same schools and overall get good results, but in other places they're split up, with some going to special blue schools, leaving the rest to go to the other place, the secondary orange. To work out whether an individual child is blue or orange, they're set a couple of multiple choice papers, each lasting about 45 minutes. Any individual test score will have a wide margin of error, so objective testing always comes with what are called confidence bands, showing the range within which an individual recorded score probably lies. For example, an educational psychologist would only be prepared to say that there's a 95% chance that an individual's standardised score lies somewhere in a range of about 15 marks, but 11+ test providers never provide confidence bands. We're led to believe that 90 minutes of multiple choice questions can generate 3 separate standardised scores in maths, English and reasoning, given to 2 decimal places with absolute certainty. If we were to plot all of these 11+ scores on a graph, they'd form the familiar bell curve like this. We can then add a line to show what's referred to as the blue school standard here at 110. Then if we just colour in the sides, we can plot some real test results. Candidate A here scored 110.00. Their score is definitely blue. Candidate B, on the other hand, only managed 109.99, which means they are orange. Now, it might seem these examples are a bit extreme, but these are the actual results sent out by one particular school for entry in 2015. This begs the question, why are blue schools treating the outcome of a couple of multiple choice papers as if they were over 1,000 times more reliable than an individual assessment carried out by a qualified psychologist? This graph, published by the Sutton Trust, which compares 11+ results against final GCSEs, might provide a few clues. If the test was perfect, these dots would all sit on the green line, which they don't. But when selecting a whole group of 100 or more children, these individual inaccuracies cancel each other out. Blue School's objective is to select a group of high-attaining children. They aren't concerned about individual dots being misallocated, and that's before we even start to look at the specific biases in the tests themselves. Studies show that children who are brown, pink, yellow or green are unsurprisingly disadvantaged by the English test, and dyslexics quite frankly don't stand a chance. But maybe blue schools only want to admit children who are the easiest to teach. When something is described as standard, you really expect it to be the same wherever you go, and the way a standard score is calculated is by comparing individuals against the whole population. If for any reason you compared them against just a smaller group of individuals who were not particularly representative, it would be positively misleading to call this standardisation. But some blue schools have privately admitted to the Schools Adjudicator they do exactly this. This means they can redefine that all-important blue school standard without anyone being any the wiser. The only way the public could see how far the goalposts have been moved would be if the underlying raw test results were released. But these are a closely guarded secret. This approach also results in situations where children go through life thinking they're blue only to be told they're not of blue school standard, when in reality there is no such standard. The level of attainment needed to be admitted varies from school to school and from year to year. Proponents of blue schools say that they promote social mobility, despite widely reported concerns that better-off parents effectively buy all the available places through intensive tutoring. Some people say the solution is simply to build more blue schools, and this will also remove any problems with poverty. Head of Ofsted, Sir Michael Wilshaw, whose views are based on hard evidence instead of ideological rhetoric, disagrees. There are countless studies showing that the very poorest children on free school meals are underrepresented at blue schools, but that's actually only part of the picture. The National Pupil Database records a measure of relative wealth for every single child in state education, and if we take this data and split it into children who are admitted to blue schools and orange schools, this shows there's a correlation between income and successful entry to the blue schools across the entire socio-economic spectrum. One explanation for this could be genetics. Bright parents have bright children as well as well-paid jobs, and there is some research to support the idea that intelligence is inherited, but what's completely missing is any research into the extent to which admissions to blue schools is being skewed by those parents who can afford it, tutoring their children to pass the test. The government have been promoting the benefits of new tutor-proof tests, although they appear to be completely unaware of the existence of an entire cottage industry of tutors earning an estimated £6 billion each year very successfully tutoring children to pass these tutor-proof tests. The debate about whether blue schools are a good thing or not polarises society. But one thing should be abundantly clear. There really is no place in a meritocratic society for an admissions system which is prejudiced against ethnic minorities, dyslexic children, and the vast majority of families who just cannot afford tutoring.